Namaskar and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to this special press briefing by Secretary West, Sri C.B. George, on the ongoing official visit of the Chancellor of Austria. In this briefing, he is also joined by our Ambassador to Austria, Sri Shambhu Kumaran, as also by Joint Secretary Southern Europe, Srimati Alpna Dubey. With that, I invite Secretary West to make his initial remarks. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Rendir. Good evening, good afternoon to everyone. As you are aware, at the invitation of Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, the Federal Chancellor of the Republic of Austria, His Excellency Christian Stocker, is on an official visit to India from April 14 to 17, which is his first visit as Chancellor to Asia. This is also the first visit to India by an Austrian Chancellor in over 4 decades. The last visit by a Chancellor was in 1984. The Chancellor is accompanied by Federal Minister of Economy, Energy and Tourism, Dr. Wolfgang Hartmann-Soder, and an official delegation, as well as a large business delegation, around 60 companies, reflecting the high priority attached to trade and investment by both sides. Trade, technology, and talent, the 3 T's, are key pillars of India-Austria relationship. Chancellor Stocker arrived in New Delhi on 14 April. Our External Affairs Minister called on the Chancellor on 15 April and had useful discussion on bilateral issues as well as on global issues of mutual interest. In the evening today, Chancellor will call on Rashtrapati ji at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Prime Minister Modi and Chancellor Stocker held wide-ranging discussions in restricted as well as delegation-level formats at Hyderabad House today. They covered all aspects of bilateral relations and exchanged views on regional and global developments of mutual interest. Prime Minister hosted a luncheon in honor of the Chancellor. Following the meeting, both sides exchanged 6 agreements, Memorandum of Understanding, Letter of Intent, signed during the visit in the following areas. I will touch upon the audio-visual co-production, MOU in the field of food safety and standards, establishment of a fast-track mechanism for promoting investment from both sides, letter of intent on defense cooperation for promoting cooperation in military matters, defense industrial technology partnerships, building on the memorandum of the India-EU Defense and Security Partnership signed in January this year. Agreed to set up a joint working group on counter-terrorism, and that LOI was also exchanged. Both sides reached an understanding in the field of dual occasional training, skill development, and the recognition of occasional qualification. Again, an LOI was exchanged. Besides these, both sides also made announcements on the following areas. Renewal of the MOU on technical cooperation in the road infrastructure sector, increased cooperation of startup ecosystems under India-Austria Startup Bridge, launch of institutional cybersecurity dialogue, partnership between India's Center for UN Peacekeeping and Austrian Armed Forces International Center, agreement to jointly organize a bilateral space industry seminar in Vienna in 2026, operationalization of working holiday program, high technology cooperation as a central pillar of the enhanced India-Austria partnership, launch of a structured bilateral dialogue on cooperation in education, Focus India initiative of Austria's leading technical universities to systematically deepen educational cooperation and research cooperation with India. A joint statement will be issued shortly to build upon already agreed enhanced India-Austria partnership, which covers key decisions and path forward for deepening our bilateral ties. A business forum involving the visiting leading companies from Austria and a similar number of leading Indian companies represented by the CEOs and top level representatives, will be held shortly at Wanijya Bhavan. Chancellor Stoker will deliver a keynote address at the Business Forum, and the Honorable Commerce and Industry Minister and Austria's Minister of Economy will also participate in the forum. Federal Minister of Economy, Energy and Tourism also traveled to Mumbai with a large business delegation day before yesterday. India and Austria enjoy close and friendly relationship based on democratic values and shared partnership. Our relationship has evolved into an enhanced India-Austria partnership. India and Austria have a growing economic partnership spanning trade and investment, technology and innovation, green and clean technology, quantum technology, educational and cultural exchanges, mobility and people-to-people ties, and cooperation in the multilateral fora. High technology cooperation has been identified as a central pillar of our enhanced partnership. Austrian companies have presence in India in many areas such as construction, roads, railways, tunneling, and smart manufacturing. Austrian investments are expanding in India with setting up manufacturing bases and utilizing India's IT talent by opening Global Development Center. Bilateral trade in goods and services is around 3.5 billion USD. Trade and investment are expected to expand substantially once the India-EU FTA is implemented. Austria has expertise in tunneling and construction sector, renewable energy and clean technologies, which makes it a natural partner for India. Given Austria's expertise, our partnership will support GOI's flagship initiatives like Make in India, Digital India, Skill India, and Startup India. Austria's leading technical university have launched a Focus India initiative to systematically deepen educational and research cooperation with India. 3 public technical universities in Austria under the TU Austria program have launched a dedicated portal to facilitate admissions for Indian students to pursue engineering and technical master's program in Austria. India and Austria signed a comprehensive migration and mobility partnership agreement in 2023. Substantive discussions on the implementation of the agreement were held, including review of the latest round of meetings of the subgroups on healthcare, personnel, vocational education and training and mobility, innovation and technology held earlier this year. India and Austria signed a joint declaration on the working holiday program in 2023. Under this program, both sides will issue up to 200 visas per annum to participants who satisfy the requirements such as should be aged 18 to 30 years with a maximum period of stay allowed up to 1 year. This is a training program. Both sides are now working to publicize the program, and operationalization of the working holiday program will offer young people of both countries excellent opportunities for professional development and cultural exchange, and becoming acquainted with the respective culture, with employment and study being incidental during such stay. This is a very substantive and productive visit. To conclude, this visit, coming soon after Prime Minister's visit to Austria in 2024, and in the context of the recently concluded India-EU Free Trade Agreement, have helped set clear directions for India-Austria cooperation. It reflects our strong commitment to both partnership with the European Union as a whole and deeper bilateral engagement with its member states. Austria is a valued partner with whom we aim to expand cooperation in key sectors of mutual interest. I'll stop here. We would be very happy to take questions. Thank you.
Floor is open. We start with Reza.
Reza from Hindustan Times here. I just wanted to check what is the level of India-Austria defense cooperation right now, and how will this new agreement, how is it going to bolster things? What are the directions we're looking at? And if we could also know when the mobility agreement is expected to come into effect.
Keshav.
Thank you, sir. Keshav Padmanabhan from the Print. Yeah, I just wanted to ask specifically on defense, and development. What are the sort of, are there platforms? Is it training? What is India and Austria identified as areas where they want to deepen defense cooperation? And to add to that, there's also the cybersecurity dialogue which you had just announced. So, what really is the focus with regards to the cybersecurity dialogue and also the larger joint working group on counterterrorism? So, how do you see this playing out, sir? Thank you.
Akhilesh?
सर मैं अखिलेश सुमन हूँ डीडी न्यूज़ से। मेरा सवाल एम्बेसडर शंभू कुमारन से है।
बोलिए बोलिए।
हाँ, मेरा सवाल एम्बेसडर शंभू कुमारन से है कि ऑस्ट्रिया रूस यूक्रेन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट की वजह से ऑस्ट्रिया की क्या स्थिति है, हाउ मैंने स्केयर्ड इज ऑस्ट्रिया बिकॉज ऑफ दैट। और फिर भारत के डायस्पोरा के तकरीबन 30,000 से ज़्यादा लोग रहते हैं वहाँ पे, तो उनकी क्या स्थिति है और क्या अभी जो समझौते हुए हैं इससे क्या उन पे कोई फ़र्क पड़ेगा या भारत के लोगों को कोई यहाँ ज़्यादा अवसर मिलेंगे ऑस्ट्रिया में?
Suhasini?
Just wanted to ask, Prime Minister did speak about the idea that military conflict cannot really solve any issues and spoke about Ukraine and West Asia. What were the conversations between the two leaders on the issue? Did they look at the specific areas where there are talks going on right now? There's a hope for a renewal of the talks process in Islamabad as well.
So we can take these questions and come back for more if there are.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the question on defense cooperation and what is being discussed or envisaged. As I mentioned, we have signed an LOI on developing a joint working group on India-Austria cooperation in military matters. They have, and both leaders underscored the ongoing cooperation in this field. There are, as you are aware, there are two corridors, defense corridors that we are developing, one in the south and in the north. A significant number of European countries are participating in that. Austria is one of them. There is partnership at various levels. This LOI, which is signed, will provide an institutional framework for promoting defense industrial cooperation and technology partnership, building on the India-EU defense and security partnership that we signed in January this year. It will also facilitate defense policy dialogue and training and capacity building on both sides. And also we have, I referred to the UN peacekeeping cooperation again is part of the training facilities which we would incorporate in our engagement from the defense point of view. On the mobility agreement, the question about when it has already been in effect. It was signed in 2023 and it is in effect and it is giving considerable results. The number of Indians working in Australia has gone up in the last few years, and also there is a significant increase in the number of Indian students now studying in Austria. But what is now being agreed is to a skill development program associated with that. See, if you look at it, we can see that there has been a considerable increase in engagement in our engagement with Germany, for example, in the last few years. So that kind of a momentum is what we are looking at with Austria as well. And I'm sure that with this new agreement and also with the implementation of the current mobility agreement which is in place, we would be able to have that significant momentum in the mobility partnership between India and Austria. We have also referred to the program, the work holiday program, which is again very significant because it also helps us to develop an engagement and exchange between the youth of both countries. This program is in place. It has been operationalized. Actually, I would urge the universities and the technical institutes and other institutes to look at it and see how we can avail these facilities, which is now available for between India and Austria. Another important element is the cyber security dialogue, which we have agreed to start. Of course, one of the important area of cooperation currently is in the IT sector. And there was the AI summit which we held, which was attended at the ministerial level from Austria when we held the Impact Summit in February this year. So there is some kind of an engagement already ongoing between the two countries. But this cyber security dialogue will again help us further enhance that cooperation and also institutionalize it. So that was the idea of that. Yes, you have a question referring to the counter-terrorism, which is very, when we issue the joint statement later the day, you could see that it would cover the element of counter-terrorism very strongly. Both sides actually categorically and unequivocally condemned terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism. The leaders welcomed the signing of the letter of intent to set up the joint working group on counterterrorism, which will serve as a platform to enhance bilateral cooperation in counterterrorism and also counter-radicalization through information and knowledge sharing and capacity building within the appropriate multilateral fora in the framework of the respective collaboration between India and the European Union. I would also mention that the leaders condemned in the strongest terms the terrorist attacks in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir last year, and the terror incident near Red Fort in November 2025. They also called for decisive and concerted international efforts to combat terrorism in a comprehensive and sustained manner. They underlined the need for cooperation to counter violent radicalization and extremism, and specifically the financing of terrorism, including by promoting internationally agreed anti-money laundering standards, as well as to prevent exploitation of new and emerging technologies for terrorist purposes and to tackle terrorist recruitment. The leaders also reaffirmed strong commitment to continue taking active measures to disrupt the terror financing linkages and channels, including at the United Nations and the FATF Financial Action Task Force. We also have a question on the discussions held on West Asia and the Ukraine conflict. I would like to emphasize that both leaders discussed all issues of concern and the recent developments in West Asia and other areas. With regard to Ukraine, both sides will continue to support efforts towards the achievement of a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace in Ukraine through dialogue and diplomacy based on the principles of the UN Charter and of international law, including independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. The two sides also discussed the recent development of concern in the West Asia region. They underscored the importance of dialogue and diplomacy in resolving issues in a peaceful manner, including safe and unimpeded passage of maritime shipping. As far as these ongoing conflicts are concerned, situation is concerned, our leadership has already articulated our position, otherwise which our spokesperson has also articulated recently. So you want to touch upon the issue which was asked you?
Akhilesh, your question with regard to how Austria views the Russia-Ukraine situation, sadly, I'm not in a position to answer that because I know I am in Austria, but it's for the Austrian government and its representatives to respond to the Austrian perspective on that. Our perspective, Secretary has already outlined. With regard to the diaspora, I'm happy to report that it is a, uh, a significant number of the Indian community present there. They are very well employed. Uh, Over the last 2 decades, we have seen quite a large number of professionals, especially those who are in the IT sector, coming into Austria. We've traditionally had a very strong presence in the nursing and healthcare area, and there are also lots of people in small businesses and entrepreneurs. And we now see a rising trend of Indian students coming to Austria. As Secretary mentioned, for the first time, the Austrians have set up a portal dedicated only to facilitate admissions of Indian students. This is the first time they've set up such a portal. The 3 public universities of Austria have come together to set up this portal. We already have a significant number of admissions under that portal. In the last admission season, over 60 students were admitted, and this year the target is to go up to around 200. So you will find that this will be a building block for a stronger people-to-people relationship, but also support the broader technology and economic partnership that we are seeking to build with Austria.
Thank you. Do we have more questions? One here.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Shailesh from National Defense. If I'm not wrong, Austria is still dependent on Russian energy to the tune of 70%. Have we discussed anything on energy engagement and cooperation with Austria? Can you elaborate that, particularly in the wake of the West Asia crisis, sir?
Abhimanyu? Abhishek? Abhimanyu? Sorry, Abhimanyu.
Sir, I'm Abhimanyu from CNBC TV 18. Sir, any indication on when the India-EU FTA is going to come into effect, and how early are both the sides looking to expedite the implementation process?
Neeraj?
सर नीरज फ्रॉम न्यूज 18 इंडिया. सर नर्सिंग को भी मोबिलिटी एग्रीमेंट में शामिल किया गया है, उससे भारत को क्या फायदा होगा, थोड़ा बताएं.
We can nursing. So over to you.
Thank you, Ranti. On the energy cooperation, your question specifically is about what was discussed in the field of energy cooperation between India and Austria, but referring also to Russia. As far as I understand, Austria is not dependent on Russia for energy at this stage. But we had very good discussions at the highest level on cooperation in the energy sector, particularly on the renewable energy sector. In fact, Prime Minister emphasized India's continued and significant expansion in renewable energy, which opens pathways for Austrian companies for partnerships in this area, including in electric grids and related equipment. They also expressed satisfaction at the recent tie-ups between companies in emerging renewable energy domains, particularly in the pumped storage renewable projects, and encouraged the companies of both countries to explore partnerships in areas such as green hydrogen storage and transportation. So it was an important area covered in the discussions. On the India-EU FTA, all that I can say is that things are proceeding as we have planned it. We hope to have final approvals coming up in the coming months, and hope to have early implementation of the FTA, which would definitely help further enhance our business cooperation between India and Europe and each of the bilaterally with each of the countries. Nursing mobility, one of the important elements of the mobility agreement is to have a cooperation in the medical sector. And I am aware that a large number of Indian medical professionals are currently working in Austria. So there would be further streamlining of their recruitment, movement, and working conditions. And I think that is what we are looking at. It would help further facilitate cooperation in the talent cooperation in the medical sector. Thank you. I just want to touch upon one thing. I mentioned about the MOU which was signed in the audiovisual cooperation, co-production, which is a very important one as it provides for an enhanced framework for cooperation between the film industries. And let me also mention that Honorable Prime Minister invited Austria to participate in the second Wave Summit, the Wave Summit which was held in Mumbai last year, which was widely appreciated by the world and participated by many countries. The second Wave Summit will be held next year. This will be an opportunity for the two countries to combine the strengths in the field of creative economy, which we are promoting at this stage. We also want to mention that, as you are aware, recently we have set up the India-Austria Parliamentary Friendship Group in the Indian Parliament, which is again a very important development as both democracies. It's very important to deepen our engagement between the parliaments. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this press briefing. Thank you for your presence.